Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Shop Talk Park Slope. I'm Nikki Thomas, licensed associate real estate broker with the Corcoran Group, and I am so thrilled to finally get a chance to speak with none other than Heather Johnston, proud owner of Good Wine in Park Slope, located on Fifth Avenue near 3rd Street. Hi.
Hi, Nikki. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I really appreciate it.
Of course, of course. I mean, there's a reason why your shop is called Good Wines.
That's basically the entire value proposition. We mean what we say, we taste, we consider, we really take it very, very seriously. It's a simple concept, but there's a lot of bad wine out there.
Good. Mm-hmm. Yes, yes, there is.
And from the jump, we've been like, we're going to make it easy and delicious and enjoyable.
So as you folks have probably already picked up from the name of the business, Good Wine is a wine shop. But Heather, can you tell us, you've already kind of given us a few little sprinkle of details, but can you tell us more about the shop?
So 8 years ago, I bought the shop, only sells wine, completely rebranded it because I am a longtime Park Slope resident and I really know the market. So just because people live in fancy brownstones doesn't mean they want to spend $40 on a bottle of red for pizza night. Like people just want good wine at good prices. And when I say good wine, now that more means like organic, natural, low sulfites. There's a lot of things that go into it. And and I also have I'm a trained chef. So I did a lot of recipe testing and writing. I had a food blog on YouTube where I did recipe demos and food pairings. So we are Good Wine, tagline, a food lover's wine shop. So when people are thinking about, I have something like I want to pair with brisket, or people every day come in with food pairing questions. And it's delightful. And we have classes. Now that COVID is mostly behind us, we've gotten back into tastings and classes because an educated consumer is a good consumer. And not a lot of education. It shouldn't be boring. It doesn't have to be technical. It's really all about you and what you like.
It's, you talked about those food pairings, and yes, because there is a wine that I still use to this day that was recommended in your shop. I wanted something that paired really nicely with cod, which is one of my favorite fish, to make it home. And then your folks are like, actually, it might have even been you. We're just like, oh, that one, that's the one that you want.
Oh, and we will debate it. Like if a customer has time, we have to hold ourselves back, like not giving too many options. And that's one of the nice things about the shop. It's beautifully located right across from the park, the Old Stone House. It's a real community spot, which is what I really wanted. Even during the pandemic, we were open.
Yes, yes, you were.
People would come in and we had barricades and this and that. And, just to talk, just to have some quick conversation about anything, about what's going on. And that's still very much a part of our process of selling wine. We're getting to know people. And it was also extremely important for me to have a comfortable workplace. You go through the trouble of opening a small business, you want to make it someplace you want to go to every day. And the same thing for your employees.
Because you're going to be spending a lot of time there as this.
That's right. I'm getting ready to go there right now. So yeah, we're serious about our part of the wine, but we bring it to you in a very accessible way that's enjoyable. We want you to enjoy your shopping experience, and most importantly, we want you to enjoy it when you get home and pop the cork.
Yeah, and I can, again, as someone who has actually been in your shop and purchased some lovely wines, I can definitely attest to that. Now, what I'm curious about is how did you come to be in the wine business? You kind of alluded to it a little bit before with saying that you had the food blog and everything else, but how did you come to be in the wine?
Well, I went to culinary school in the late 90s after being an independent filmmaker for a while. I wanted to get into something that was more steady. We were about to have a family. And so I went to culinary school with the intention of working in food editorial. I never wanted to work in restaurants. And my interest in wine started when I was in culinary school. I did do a lot of food editorial. I worked for Essence for many years. but then I really wanted to like fold the wine aspect of it because people are doing it more now, but cooking at home is like, doesn't have to be a drag, and it's a nice way to spend your time.
Mhm.
It's certainly a good way to control your budget and your calories. And when you pick it with pair it with a nice bottle of wine a couple of times a week, it really elevates the whole thing. So I went to wine school, just like you go to culinary school. I went to wine school and studied and worked retail. And wine's the kind of thing where you can get like, you've seen the master sommelier competitions and master huge. It's a never ending learning process, which is kind of why I like it, because you can sort of step in and step out as you see fit. But I, started bringing what I do at home first to my videos, and then now I do it at my shop. I'm so grateful that we're at the point in the pandemic where most people are comfortable to share, to go into businesses and spend a little time and maybe take a taste, because that is such a huge part of our pleasure. It's such a huge part of my business.
Yeah, because there is, I think, like, unless you kind of know exactly what it is that you're going in for, and sometimes, that is the case. Like, it's like I'm looking for something there. There is something about, like, especially if you enjoy wine, well, really not just wine, but just kind of really anything. When you go into a shop that's dedicated to that, it's like you want to be there to see what's there, to kind of to look at the labels, to look at the colors, to talk to the people in the shop. So yeah, that's like just such a huge element, I think.
And we have shelf talkers on every wine. You don't have to like talk to us if you don't want to. We don't usually have large national brands. What I can do, I have the time or I've dedicated the time and expertise to smaller distributors, producers, natural, organic, sustainable, because I have the time to taste and talk to distributors and talk to salespeople. And a lot of other places just don't have the time or the expertise. So that's one of my big differentiators. So if you say a Pinot Noir, you might not see the Pinot Project, which is a national brand, but I definitely have something that I can put in your hands that will probably be just as good, likely better made. And I really try very hard to do value. I'm not just trying to sell expensive wine. To me, part of a good wine is its price. Because if you don't feel like you're getting your money's worth, it's not feeling that good.
Yeah.
So, it's been tricky because, the prices have been going up, but we're working on it. We're just, offering a variety of price points to meet everybody where they are. We're very welcome.
Yeah, no, that is really and again, that's something I've just kind of noticed in your shop, where it's just like, if you do want something that's feeling a little bit more special and perhaps you want to spend just a little bit more money, you've got that. But at the same time, though, maybe if you just want, like, so for me, I really love sparkling wines of all kinds. That's my thing. I guess, as they say, I guess in some languages it's espumante, right? So it's like, that's my thing and stuff. And listen, it's like, those can get expensive. So
yes, they can get, but they don't have to be.
They don't have to be, exactly.
They don't have to be. They can get very, very expensive. But they don't have to be. And they're all different kinds. And when you're in doubt, if you're at a big table at a restaurant and everybody's ordering something different, the best bottle to get is a rosé sparkling wine.
Yeah.
Flexible. It goes with so many things. And it's kind of festive. I mean, even if you're just at home with, watching Netflix, there's something festive about sparkling wine.
There is. It's just, it's hard not to feel just a little special, just a little fancy.
Yeah,
exactly. You have something sparkling. So you, again, like, you've already kind of like touched on this a little bit, but kind of personally for you, it's like, what do you really enjoy about like wine itself? I know it's a good question potentially, but yeah.
No, but it's like I said, I like the never ending learning curve. I like that it changes. Every year is a new vintage, and it's reflecting a different climate, a different, what happened that year. And I tell you, during the pandemic, I never learned that more, because there were a lot of moving parts. There were fires in some places. So you really sort of see it as part of like our global agricultural world. And it sort of takes you like a little broader, makes you think about things in a more holistic way. But of course, again, I like, I'm somebody who likes to eat and I like good food. And I just think about flavors and how they go together. That's from my recipe developing days. I think about that a lot.
Mhm.
So I just enjoy the conversation of it. And, it's food and wine. You're making people happy. It's like,
Yes.
it's
Yes,
not a drag at all. So that's another thing. It's like, how bad can a pairing be? It's really pleasant. It's pleasant work, festive.
yeah, no, I feel you on that, especially with me being in real estate and stuff. Part of what this is, real estate's fun. There's not a lot of people in New York City who aren't fascinated by real estate.
I know, there's
Well,
not.
and wine is just one of those things too, especially
Yeah.
in such a cosmopolitan city. It's
Yeah.
like there's a lot of people who absolutely love wine, can talk about it all day, every day, and absolutely
Right.
love it. And even if you are not necessarily a wine aficionado, you still enjoy a good glass.
It's okay. Yeah, right.
Now, speaking of which, though, I would say there is the non-alcohol movement
Yes.
that's been happening. So I'm curious, does good wine kind of carry some of those options?
We are just starting to. Believe
Okay.
it or not, the way the state liquor authority works, my license is to sell wine.
Mm-hmm.
I can sell still water and accessories. I couldn't sell I couldn't sell non-alcoholic until recently because they changed the process of how they de-alcohol. So it's a wine product, but they have just taken the alcohol out. So we just started this January to explore and carry non-alcoholic wines. They're a terrific alternative. And it's tricky because like sparkling, great non-alcoholic options.
Mm-hmm.
Whites and rosés, reds it's just a little harder to get a quality flavor. And we're really committed to this good wine notion. So this year is the first year where that's become part of the conversation. And it really has to be complete alcohol removed. So some have a little 0.5% or something. That's not what we're 100% alcohol free. So we're with that, and we're glad to see more of it, more quality wines coming to the market.
That's exciting because and I've talked about this with my friends, is that sometimes you just want a really nice, pretty, I think I read this somewhere on Twitter, and I totally I totally vibe with it. Sometimes you just want a pretty sippy drink, but you don't want the alcohol. You don't want to get drunk.
Right. I know you don't want the booze. Listen, I taste a lot of wine, and it sounds disgusting, but in the wine trade you spit. And you don't because you can lose your sense when you're making purchases. So I really understand that. But you want to be festive. You want to be sophisticated sometimes. You want to add, maybe you don't want a glass of seltzer. Maybe you want something else.
Exactly.
And I know I don't sell spirits at this point, but I know there's a huge trend in the cocktail trade to do mocktails. And that's another really fun way of just having a delicious thing to drink. That's not about the alcohol.
Right. Exactly. And that's a trend that I can really there's so many reasons why it makes sense. And also I think, just kind of bring balance and stuff. Cause in a way, sometimes it's not drinking the alcohol that when I do have the drink, somehow, at least for me, it's a bit more special. It's more enjoyable. Right. I tend to be more selective in terms of what I choose to drink as a result.
Right. And moderation is key. There's no question about it. That is, of course, I have a certain responsibility of selling alcohol to keep that in mind. And I'm very aware of that. I'm in a family neighborhood across from a park. So it's really got it's not about the buzz. I mean, Not that saying other stores are, but I think this is like because we have the food emphasis, it feels more like a meal, part of a meal.
Yeah, it's about the flavors, the taste, and the
Yeah,
experience, I
yeah.
think. Yeah. Actually, kind of speaking of the neighborhood, what have you so you've been in Park Slope, I think you said for 8 years now.
Oh, no, I've been at the shop's been
Oh,
open.
wait, the shop for 8 years. No, you are longer.
I've been in Park
You've
Slope.
been in Park Slope for much longer.
I've been in my current apartment for 20 years. I raised
Okay. Yeah.
my daughters here. I'm originally from Long Island, so it's not that far back, but I've been in Brooklyn or around Brooklyn since 1989.
Yeah. So you've been here for a minute. So that's what.
Yeah.
So what do you really enjoy about being part of this community?
People are engaged. Like I was involved with the local public schools, and there's just a lot of points at which you create community. They care about not just their own living space, but their experience of walking up and down an avenue and having vibrant stores and, saying hello to neighbors and, having conversations. It's a real draw for people. And so that's Park Slope. It's a pedestrian neighborhood that's primary residential. So there's not a lot of businesses that change the vibe. It's just like the small local ones. So, I mean, that's what I like about it. It feels like a much more, it's like a neighborhood in a big city.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Basically, it's because one of the things so before I moved to Park Slope, one of my friends actually moved here first. And one of the things she told me, she's like, I feel like I come to Brooklyn, I come to Park Slope, and I feel like I can just breathe and release.
Yeah. Yeah.
The vibe is very relaxed. It is very chill.
Right.
You still got all the conveniences.
Right. I mean, we're not like hipster. We don't have that. It's a little bit more, but it's a different vibe than Williamsburg. And it's a different vibe than Manhattan. I mean, I lived in Little Italy for a couple of years, and it's like on all the time on. And it's more relaxed here.
Yeah, it's very chill. Now, speaking of Park Slope, and to kind of wrap things up, since you have been here for so long, I know you got some business favorites. So can you tell us just a few places you love to pop in?
I have to say one of my favorite places, again, it's like food related, is Russo's Butcher.
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh. It has like ruined me for all other like the mozzarella, the marinara sauces, the quality of the meat. You get what you asked for. It's a small business, and a lot of people do. They go to Russo's, they come to Good Wine, they go back and forth. Bon Bon Laquais is a wonderful Haitian cafe that opened up. Beautiful store, lovely people. I mean, there's and one of the interesting things is that since the pandemic, a lot of stores closed, people moved, so a lot of new businesses are opening up, and I think providing a little bit more variety.
Yes.
The area, which is nice. I mean, there's certainly plenty of restaurants, but there's still like a place where you can like get clothes or lotions or home goods, and that's it used to be like that, and then it kind of got priced out, and now it's kind of like that again. So I like the diversity on the avenue very much.
Yeah, it is. Like Fifth Avenue just really has so many great things going on, and it's a really fabulous neighborhood. So.
As a small business owner, there's the Business Improvement District for Fifth Avenue.
Right. Yes.
Wonderful. They are wonderful, supportive. In the nice fair weather months, they have open streets. They close off the traffic so stores can just sort of reach out into the street, expand their offerings, and it's just a community-based thing.
Yeah, open streets have just the extra energy that it packs into the neighborhood when it starts. And I think now we're getting to the point where like people are they're excited for it to come back again and everything else. And it's just like it really has been such a great addition to the neighborhood.
And it's a big, hard effort, and they do a really great job. So it's just like another perk of being a part of a community.
Yep, exactly. Again, you're definitely not the first person to say that. To say that the Business Improvement District is actually really supportive, and not only that, but also hearing about how the ways that other businesses support each other in terms of like creating that community fabric.
Absolutely.
Well, Thank you again so much for joining me. This was so great. It was also really fun to learn more about you and how you came to be into your business. It's always really fascinating because, like, just it's like it's like, oh yeah, so actually I was a filmmaker. It's like, wait, what?
I know. It's you get so focused on what you're doing now, you're like, oh yeah, I did do that. Right? I'm sure you have a very interesting story too.
It's like, oh, yes, actually, post interview, I'll tell you a little bit about it. But folks, this has been Heather Johnston of Good Wine. Again, you can find her on Fifth Avenue in Park Slope, just a little jaunt up from 3rd Street, right across the street from J.J. Byrne Playground. And I've been Nikki Thomas. Well, not been, still am. Nikki Thomas, licensed associate real estate broker of the Corcoran Group. And I will catch you folks another time for another edition of Shop Talk Park Slope.